I was pushing my limits with heavy dumbbell curls. Unknowingly, my form slipped just slightly and I felt a slight twinge, but I finished the set. I turned to put the dumbbells back on the dumbbell rack and boom. Hey everybody, Jay here. Welcome back to Fit After 50. Today we're diving into a topic that's essential for anyone serious about their fitness journey: the pitfalls of lifting heavy weights in low reps and why lifting lighter weights with higher reps can be a game changer for avoiding injuries and for staying consistent in the gym. Let's break this down in detail so you can make informed decisions about your training. When we talk about heavy weights with low reps, we're typically referring to lifting at or near your maximum capacity, usually around 1 to 5 reps per set. This type of training is excellent for building raw strength and power. However, it comes with some significant drawbacks. First, there's the obvious, which is an increased risk of injury. Lifting heavy puts a lot of stress on your muscles, joints, and connective tissues. If your form isn't perfect or if you're fatigued, the risk of injury skyrockets. Common injuries include strains, sprains, and even more severe injuries like herniated disc or torn muscles. Let me share a quick story with you. A few years ago, I was pushing my limits with extremely heavy dumbbell curls. Unknowingly, my form slipped just slightly and I felt a slight twinge, but I finished the set anyway. And then I turned to put the dumbbells back on the dumbbell rack and boom, there it went. I ended up with a major strain in my mid-back that took me over 3 weeks to heal and return to normal lifting. The actual exercise itself did not seem to be all that bothersome. It felt more like a feeling of muscle tightness, but when I went to put the weights back on the rack, that's what stopped me in my tracks. This story I just told you is just one example, but really it's the accumulation of pain in the joints that ultimately led me to slightly adjust my lifting to ensure longevity in the sport that I truly love. Let me hear from you. Have you ever experienced injuries like what I just told you about, that have come from extremely heavy lifting but happened immediately following the actual lift? Tell me in the comment section below if maybe what you have to say can help others that are tuning in. Another drawback to extreme heavy lifting is greater fatigue and recovery time. It takes longer for you to recover. Heavy lifting can lead to greater central nervous system fatigue. This can result in more frequent rest days and less overall gym time, which can slow down your progress. Whether it's a set of heavy squats or heavy deadlifts, notice how after just a few reps, you start to feel drained. This is your central nervous system getting taxed heavily, which means you'll need more time to recover. The problem with following the advice of great bodybuilders and lifters who use steroids is, as a natural lifter, you can't lift ridiculously heavy weights and expect to recover the way they do, especially as you age. So always keep that in mind when thinking about following the high weight, low rep intensity training that some teach out there. Do you guys realize if you want to perform 1 to 5 rep max exercises as your base strategy, meaning you start there but end at 1 rep, 100% max effort, you will then need to not exercise that same muscle group again for possibly as much as 8 to 10 days or more while you recover. Even if the soreness is gone, that does not mean you have properly recovered. I used to lift this way, so I do know a little something about it. And I can tell you this type of lifting was a major pitfall for me, and ultimately it prevented me from making the gains that I desired to make. Now, let's talk about lifting lighter weights with slightly higher reps, typically in the 10 to 15 rep range. This approach has numerous benefits that can help keep you injury-free and more consistent with your workouts. First, there's a reduced injury risk when you bring the rep count up and you bring the weight down slightly. Lighter weights means less stress on your joints and connective tissues, which will significantly lower the risk of injuries. You can focus more on perfecting your form. You can ensure that each rep is performed safely and effectively when you bring the weight down just slightly. Remember that story I just told you about the heavy dumbbell curls? Let me show you one of the things I implemented into my program to retrain my brain to assist me in developing a new strategy. Look here at me performing bicep exercises using cables. I show you this for a reason. I love my dumbbells and I do a lot of dumbbell work. However, it was when I taught myself the importance of doing less exercises with less weight and better focus and form that I saw better results and less injuries. To do that, I jumped on cables to emulate free weight movements, and this taught me how to better feel the movement and lessen the injuries. Notice the controlled movement and focus on my form. This not only reduces injury risk, but it also improves overall technique. Another benefit to lifting slightly lighter weights is you will have improved muscle endurance. Training in the higher rep range helps build muscle endurance, which can improve your overall athletic performance. This endurance can translate to better performance in other exercises and activities that you may be involved in or that you may want to get involved in. So remember that. Think of it this way. Lighter weights allows you to maintain good form for longer periods, which translate to better muscle endurance. This is crucial for activities that require sustained effort. There's also this other benefit, which is enhanced recovery and consistency. Lighter weights generally lead to less overall fatigue and shorter recovery times. This means you can hit the gym more frequently, leading to more consistent progress over time. In my experience, incorporating lighter weights and slightly higher reps has allowed me to maintain a more consistent workout schedule. I feel less fatigued and more motivated to keep training day after day without those nagging issues that I was experiencing before. What about balancing your workout routine? Let's look at that for a moment. One thing that is so often overlooked is the importance of finding balance in your workout routine. Incorporating both heavy and light lifting can provide a well-rounded approach to balance and to your overall fitness. When I say balance between heavy and light, I'm speaking of weight ranges that take you up and down from a rep range of 12 to 15 reps on the light side and 10 to 12 reps on the heavy side. Sometimes at the end of a set, that could go as low as 6 to 8 reps. So still not extremely heavy weights that many push for, which I used to do, by the way. And one way to balance your routine is by implementing something called periodization. Periodization allows you to build strength while also giving your body time to recover and adapt. By implementing periodization in your training, it allows you to cycle between phases of heavy lifting and phases of lighter, higher rep lifting. The way I do periodization may not align with how others would do linear periodization, or better known as traditional periodization. But again, with most everything I do with my training, I plan my periodization schedule a bit unorthodox and different from others, but like most things I do in my personal fitness, I create it around my needs, and that's always what I encourage you to do. I'll save the periodization charts for another video because that can get pretty deep, but basically I break down my workouts into quarterly segments, and within the 4 quarters of the year, I break down the weeks to alternate rep ranges and weight resistance. Again, we'll discuss that in another video at a later time, but I will tell you, if you're not putting this amount of emphasis into your workouts and planning, you should definitely consider doing so. Another very important way to balance your routine is the obvious one, and we talk about this a lot. Listen to your body. Pay attention to how your body feels. If you're feeling fatigued or notice any signs of injury, it's a good idea to switch to lighter weights and higher reps, or it may be time to consider a full-blown recovery workout plan that includes less days in the gym. There are times in my periodization schedule where I automatically write in recovery workouts as well as 3-day workouts just to give my body healing and recovery time. Take it from me, I used to do 2-a-days in the gym. I worked out in the morning and went back and worked out again in the afternoon. I was trying to build Rome in a day, but instead I only beat down Jay, and take it from me, especially the older guys, you will not last doing what I was doing. So always prioritize mobility and recovery to keep your body in optimal condition. While lifting heavy weights with low reps has its place in a well-rounded fitness program, it's crucial to understand the risk involved. By incorporating lighter weights with slightly higher reps, you can minimize the risk of injury, you can recover faster, and you can maintain a consistent workout routine. Remember, consistency is key to achieving long-term fitness goals. Okay, that's all I have for today. As always, thank you for your viewership. go right here and check out this video. And until I see you over there, you go get fit.